You know what? Fear is normal, but doing nothing won't keep you safe. It'll just keep you stuck.
I'm trying to buy a house, right? I need someone that checks off all those lists. Someone who's gone through it before, someone who has my best interest in mind, someone who doesn't have any ulterior motives, and someone who's going to be with me for the long run. So like for me personally, it's like,
And my family almost lost a home because the loan officer did not qualify us correctly, did not pre-qualify or pre-approve us correctly. He did not understand how to read taxes.
you're a smart shopper. That's why you're doing research on YouTube on real estate and mortgages. And here's the irony in all of this. The more voices you listen to, the more voices that you take information from, the less action you could be taking because of a phenomenon called analysis paralysis. This episode is for all of you people who are well qualified, who are maybe even pre-approved, but you're still on the fence for some reason. And we'll talk about how to overcome this analysis paralysis. We're going to give you 5 decision filters to help you filter out the noise and help you make the decision that's going to help and benefit you and your family. We are the Clear Close, the mortgage experts to help you get clear to close on your next mortgage. And if you are in a meeting or if you're in the gym running on the treadmill and you can't watch this full video, no problem. We respect your time. Take a screenshot of this. When you have more time, come back to the video and finish watching it. But do us a favor before you leave, give us a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel. It helps this channel out a ton and it costs you absolutely nothing. All right, let's get on to the video. So I'm sure in your time as a mortgage broker and even as a loan officer back in the days, you've had customers that are well approved, like well qualified, pre-approved, and they're just still on the fence and they're hemming and hawing, right?
Yep. Every day.
Every
It's
day
everybody.
still. Does it get worse when the economy is worse, or is it just like all the time?
It's the same no matter what. It's a different set of fears regardless. Even when the rates were low, it's like it's the pandemic, right?
Mm.
Is this the right time to buy? Or right before that, it's like, oh my gosh, Brexit or the world economy. It's a war. It's everything. There's an excuse for everybody.
Yeah, and there's always a reason why not to do
Mm-hmm.
some big decision, right?
Of
Especially like,
course,
yeah.
it's human nature. It's not easy. It's scary.
Even for you, when you were deciding to become a broker instead of,
Mhm.
staying as a loan officer, uh, I'm sure there was some research that you did. There was some
Oh,
moments
absolutely,
of, huh? Oh, absolutely, yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Of
there was
course.
research that you had to do. There was maybe even moments of fear, maybe even moments
Mhm.
of hesitation, right?
Oh, 100%. There's no clear answer, and you have to be able to discern what's right for you and what's not. Like that's the biggest piece in any of this. Like, do you have the right information, and have you done the correct research, and is the information that you're making or basing your decision on true and accurate? Because there's a lot of misinformation out there, especially when it comes to buying a home.
Yeah, and there's a lot of advice out there from, gurus and influencers, even people like us, right? Like we're in that bucket of
Mhm.
influencers, I guess. We're not trying to influence anybody. We're just trying to help people out. But yeah, like
Social
our
media
voices in
advisors.
yeah,
Mhm.
we're in the mix with all the other YouTube and TikTok and Instagram people out there. But I think there is a way to kind of filter out the noise and make a good decision for themselves, right? So whether you're listening to us, whether you're listening to your uncle who bought a house 5 years ago, there are some like ways that you can filter out the noise. And if you're on the fence and you're, like I said, pre-approved, well qualified, maybe this checklist can help you come to a decision quicker, because if there's a property that you like, waiting is just working against you.
There just has to be enough positives to help you make that the final decision to make that step to commit. That's where I think these five points, this decision tree will help you like understand, you know what, maybe it is time.
This is hopefully going to help you with any type of decision paralysis or analysis paralysis that you may have. So yeah, go ahead and share this with a friend who suffers from analysis paralysis like I do. Number one is set a clear decision deadline. So give yourself a hard stop date. So Jason, I'm sure you've given this advice to your clients, right?
Especially if you're a renter. Like your lease is going to come up. It could be a month from now, it could be 3 months from now. If you're planning on buying a home before your lease ends, though, I hope you prepare a little more than a month or a couple of weeks in advance because it's going to take you some time. Even if you're pre-approved, buying a home, closing, and getting escrow closed is going to take about 30 days for most people on average. So you want to be realistically, if your lease is coming up in 3 months, you need to be pre-approved then. That way you have 90 days to shop and close, or 60 days to shop and 30 days to close. That's my conservative estimate.
If you haven't come to a decision by that artificial date that you set for yourself, then just move on and find another place to rent or renew your lease, right? And then try again.
Exactly. Or renew it as a month to month so you have an option to exit. Because if something like buying a home has been on your mind, you would have probably known that as you were getting into this like current rent cycle of yours. And then you'll decide yes or no.
And same thing with if you're already a homeowner looking for a refinance, and you have analysis paralysis about whether or not to refinance. Yeah, give yourself a hard deadline. You do your research for a month or whatever, and then if you still haven't come to a decision by the end of that month, just move on. Just move on.
Mhm.
Yeah. For us, we should also move on to number two. Use a decision filter, and by decision filter, I mean there's three criterias. Instead of trying to make like a perfect decision, there's a term called min-maxing, minimizing and maximizing. So if you're a min-maxer like me, man, analysis paralysis is like a real thing, right? So instead of trying to make a perfect decision when you're trying to buy a home or when you're trying to refinance or whatever, you could do this three-part filter.
Yeah, so I mean, it's very simple. Is my income stable? Will I have a job in the next year, 2 years, 5 years? What's your plan? Like, how long do you plan on living in this new home that you're acquiring? Like, or I'm single or getting married or engaged, and I don't have a family yet. So, the starter home, condo, perfect. I'm only going to be here 3 to 5 years, and then I'm going to leave that behind as a rental. Third point out of this three-part filter is like, can I afford this without overextending? Like, am I comfortable with that payment? Because that's the most important question I always ask. I've had clients that have went from like a $3,600 rent on a home and they buy their dream home and that payment jumps up to $8,000. That's more than double what they were used to making, right? But after we ran all the numbers, made sure they qualified for it, they're like, yes, this is my forever home and I want to be in this house for the next 30 years. That's a huge commitment. And then they know like they can pay it down and they've had the budget. They've planned, they've set aside money for that heavy 6-figure down payment on a 7-figure home. And it's something they decide to go forward with, right? So like, can you afford it without overextending? Yeah, that's a big piece.
Number three is focusing on the long-term outcomes, or simply put, just looking at the big picture. We want you to zoom out and don't obsess on whether you're buying the perfect min-maxing, right? Is it going to check the boxes that are the most important to you?
Like if you're trying to like align everything perfectly with the perfect rate, timing the market bottom, and just like you said, min-maxing, like you're just handicapping yourself. Like it's just simple, right? Will owning this home put me in a better financial position in 5 to 10 years? If it is, then most likely the chances are yes, you're ready to buy that house.
Number four is silencing the noise. I recently watched a podcast from Diary of a CEO. Dude, that guy, he has such a good show. But he was talking to Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Incredible from the Shark Tank show.
What is he
And
famous for? I still don't. I see Kevin O'Leary everywhere. But what does he do? Like, what's
Kevin
his
O'Leary,
job?
I think
Yeah,
he literally just invests and manages other businesses. I think that's what he
got
is.
it.
I mean, we can
Money
Google it.
making money.
But anyway, Kevin O'Leary on the Diary of a CEO podcast mentioned that he worked under Steve Jobs, and the genius of Steve Jobs was that he had this ability to filter out the noise. And he had an 80-20 rule, 80% signal and
Mhm.
20% noise, right? And so he would structure his life so that the communication coming to him, 80% of it was signal and 20% was noise. And then he said the only person that he's seen in his life that's more intense than Steve Jobs is Elon
Elon Musk.
Musk. Elon Musk
100%
is
signal.
100% signal, probably because
I
of his
want,
Asperger's.
but that's the hard part
It is
because
hard.
you have that uncle who doesn't own a home, but damn, sounds like he really knows what it's like to own a home. You know, and it's like, is it noise or is it signal? Right? Man, I got two uncles, right, that don't own homes or own anything, but man, they sure as hell sound like they're the mortgage professional, right?
Yeah,
And they
I
know
would say this.
everything.
From personal experience, this is how I determine what is signal versus noise. Um, Number one, signal is like, does this person have the best interest for me? Like, is there any ulterior motive to what this person is saying? So, like, if it's a person on YouTube and they're selling a course, right? Like, that's an ulterior motive. I have to take it with a grain of salt. Is this person gonna bear consequences with me if things go wrong, right? Like, are they gonna be with me through thick and thin, whether I make this decision or not? Number three is, does this person have any actual real world experience dealing with the issue that I'm talking to them about? And number four is, if they have that experience, like, what's their track record with that experience, right? Did they open, if I'm trying to open up a business, do I talk to an entrepreneur but he failed every single business within the first year? I mean, I gotta take that with a grain of salt,
There's
right?
nothing wrong with failing every year for like the first 20 years of your life.
Yeah.
That's business though. Like if you understand business, that's normal because you only need that
It's,
one
yes.
business on the 21st business to actually work, you know?
Right, but I take it with a grain of salt in the sense that, like, okay, this guy knows a lot about starting businesses, but there's maybe not something he knows about how to be a successful business person, right? So, like,
Hmm.
I would put that maybe into more of the noise, and maybe some
Hmm.
of the things that he says or she says is a signal, and some of that what that person says is in the noise category. But if, like, I'm trying to buy a house, right? I need someone that checks off all those lists. Someone who's gone through it before, someone who um has my best interest in mind, someone who doesn't have any ulterior motives, and someone who's going to be with me for the long run. So, like, for me personally, it's like my dad, my mom, and like my wife, right? Maybe like
Your immediate
couple
family,
people,
basically.
immediate
Yeah.
family who, yeah, right? Um,
No
that
uncles.
would be my signal to noise ratio.
Hmm. No, it makes sense because like if you have too many voices, like if you're getting advice from us and then every other YouTube personality and mortgage bankers A, B, C, and D, and your mom, your dad, and it's good to cast your net wide. But if there's too many voices, it just dilutes it. You just get so confused. It's like you have to take a step back. Like, what really hits me is like in our business, we have to be licensed both on a federal and state level. And with that licensing comes a financial fiscal responsibility for the client's best like position, right? We
Interest, yeah.
have to ensure that we're not misguiding you. So and then even with that in mind, you have to be a little wary of who you're working with because of the level of experience. And my family almost lost a home that we were bidding for because the loan officer did not qualify us correctly, did not pre-qualify or pre-approve us correctly. He did not understand how to read taxes. And that caused us to almost lose 50 grand
Yeah.
on one home. That's life changing. That's like devastating. Like think about how long it takes you to save that money, right?
Dude,
Because
that's
you're gonna
some people's 1 year, like, gross earnings.
exactly. That was one of the reasons why I ended up considering becoming a mortgage banker. That's a different story. But like you're saying, I don't know how we
Can
got
you
here,
give
but
us an
yeah.
example of, like, how do you filter out silence? I mean, how you filter out signal and noise? Because I'm sure you have to make a lot of decisions in your life, right? And
Yeah.
um,
So how I filter out signal, I pray. I set some time out, reflect. I go to my wife for everything. So we just openly discuss every financial decision. There's different ways to get there, is my point. So, like, discuss it with your wife, your father, your mom, like your two closest people, right? That you really believe in, and then filter out the rest.
Yeah. Um, with the caveat of they have the best interest, they have your
In
best
your mind.
interest in mind, and also that they have some level of experience doing the thing that you're asking them about. Number 5 is run a worst case scenario drill or like a stress test. And we've covered this in a previous example or previous video before, but when you run stress tests, basically you're doing a worst case scenario, just ask the question, if the rates go up or if the rates go down, what will happen to the end result? Or if a flood happens in this area, like what is the risk of a flood? Or like think of all the worst case scenarios that you could think of, right? And then put it on a piece of paper, and if those worst case scenarios are something that you can solve or you can live with, then it's a good indicator that you should go forward with that purchase or with that decision. And if those worst case scenarios are, you know what, the chances of this happening is unbearable, or the chances of this happening is something I can't fix or I can't handle, then it's a good indicator that you maybe might not want to go forward with this decision.
For me, it's like I have to weigh out the pros and cons. So it's like more often than not, like the fear of acting, like the fear of acting is smaller than the cost of waiting, right? It's you have to see what it is that you're looking for. Because I can tell you, I've seen clients tell me, like, man, this house is awesome and everything. I love everything about it, but there's something there's something on the back of their mind that like it's holding me back, right? And then we start writing it down, and then it's like we get that aha moment, like when we're looking at it, you know what? It actually isn't that bad. This is a better house than I thought. Like when we circle back to that one, because it's like they just thought it wasn't right, and then when they started listing out all the good and all the bad, like the worst case scenario drill like you're talking about, and you visualize it, that was key in making that decision, and that's when they actually fully went forward with it, right? So my advice is just whatever method works for you, write it down. That way you can visualize it, and then you'll start to see this matters, this doesn't matter.
Basically what we're trying to say is that, fear is normal, we all experience it, but doing nothing is not going to help you. It's not going to keep you safe. It's just means you're doing nothing. Especially if you are pre-approved, you're well qualified to buy a house, and you're on the fence, and you need something to help you make a decision. Feel free to use these decision trees or decision filters. And if you need a little bit of extra help, use that link in the description. We're glad to help you run through these simulations. Remember, we are the Clear Close, the mortgage experts to help you get clear to close on your next mortgage. And we really appreciate you guys watching to the end of the video. It means a lot. Remember to like and subscribe and comment and do all the algorithm stuff. We will see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.